In the glow of old Hollywood, one woman's quiet strength lit every frame, Diane Ladd. For more than 70 years, she gave the world characters full of laughter, courage, and truth. Today we don't just mourn her passing, we celebrate her legacy. When the news of her death broke, film lovers across America paused. From Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore to Wild at Heart, her voice and honesty defined generations of cinema. Born in Laurel, Mississippi, 1935, Diane grew up surrounded by Southern storytelling. She dreamed not of fame but of truth, to feel and make others feel. At the Actors Studio in New York, she transformed emotion into art. Her peers called her fearless. When Hollywood boxed women in, Diane broke those boxes open. This is Diane Ladd, the woman who never gave up. What's your first Diane Ladd film memory? Share below. In the late 1950s, Diane landed small roles, bit parts that hinted at greatness. She hustled from audition to audition, often told she was too intense or too southern. She didn't change, she sharpened. Her breakthrough came with Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, 1974, directed by Martin Scorsese. The role of Flo, the tough-talking waitress, earned Diane her first Oscar nomination, proof that truth beats glamour. Audiences loved her rawness, she wasn't pretending to be real, she was real. Critics said she redefined the working-class woman on screen. Behind the scenes, she balanced motherhood and art. She raised her daughter, Laura Dern, who would one day share the screen, the stage, and even Oscar nominations with her mother. If you've ever watched Laura Dern, you've seen Diane's legacy continue. Drop sparkling heart for that bond. Through the 1980s and 90s, Diane Ladd became Hollywood's quiet powerhouse. Films like Wild at Heart and Rambling Rose showed her range, tender yet fierce. Rambling Rose, 1991, made history, mother and daughter both nominated for Oscars, the first time in history that had ever happened. It wasn't competition, it was connection. Through the 1980s and 90s, Diane Ladd became Hollywood's quiet powerhouse. Films like Wild at Heart and Rambling Rose showed her range, tender yet fierce. Rambling Rose, 1991, made history, mother and daughter both nominated for Oscars, the first time in history that had ever happened. It wasn't competition, it was connection. Diane Ladd once said, "Talent is God's gift, what you do with it is your gift back." Every role was her way of giving back. She worked with Scorsese, Lynch, and Spielberg, each calling her the soul of the scene. No special effects could outshine her eyes, the depth that pulled you in. Off-screen, Diane was known for her warmth. Crew members recall her remembering birthdays, comforting extras, mentoring young actors. She believed kindness was part of professionalism. She faced loss, her marriage to actor Bruce Dern ended, and she endured the tragic death of their first child. But pain didn't silence her, it shaped her performances. She transformed grief into empathy, a gift only true artists master. Friends described her laughter as contagious. Even late in life, she'd show up on set with scripts covered in notes and hearts. To Diane, acting wasn't fame, it was service. Service to story, to audience, to the human soul. If you've ever been inspired by someone's kindness at work, type grace in the comments. Even into her 80s, Diane kept acting, from HBO's Enlightened to Hallmark films that reached new audiences. She wrote books, shared memories, and collaborated with Laura Dern on projects celebrating resilience. In interviews, Laura called her mother a warrior of love. Together, they showed that legacy isn't just about awards, it's about how deeply you love what you do. Diane received multiple Golden Globes, 3 Oscar nominations, and a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Yet her proudest role was being a mother, mentor, and friend. When asked what success meant, she said, "To be remembered kindly." That's all any of us can hope for. If that quote speaks to you, share this video, let her message keep shining. In November 2025, Diane Ladd's light left this world, but her art remains, flickering across screens and hearts. In every line she spoke, in every tear she shed, she left us a map of humanity. Laura Dern announced her passing with words full of love. She was my teacher, my partner, my best friend. I will love her forever. Hollywood legends fade from the screen, but never from memory. Diane's story reminds us that grace and grit can coexist, that true art is honesty wrapped in love. Thank you, Diane Ladd, for the stories, the strength, and the soul. If this tribute touched you, please like Red Heart, subscribe for more stories that celebrate timeless artists, and share Diane's legacy with someone who loves great cinema.